Hi, everyone. My name is Becky Robinson, and I'm the founder and CEO of Weaving Influence. And I'm so thrilled that you decided to join me for today's webinar. I want to give some of our attendees a chance to log in. And while I'm doing that, I also want to get you familiar with our technology. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment and answer in the question panel. Later on in the broadcast, I'm going to be answering your questions. And so I want you to find the question panel. Maybe tell me where you're calling from today. And then if you've been participating in our book marketing challenge this week, go ahead and give me a yes or a no, and let me know if you've been participating with us. It's been such an exciting week for us to see the way that people are applying focused, consistent effort to moving their book marketing forward. And just before we started the webinar, I was speaking with my team about some of the information that we've been seeing in our email, and just a little bit of feedback from some of you who have been participating in the book marketing challenge. I know the first day prompt with the network was very eye-opening for a bunch of you, and many of you were surprised to reflect on how many connections you actually have, and were surprised by that. We also had some people experiencing some great wins as it relates to getting to yes with the asks that you've been making, including one author who mentioned that they were able to approach a local library and got a yes to a book launch event. And I have the nicest comment. Thank you, Janice, for your kind words. And thank you to Richard for your feedback about the challenge. Another yes that we heard from one of our participants in the challenge was that the author asked his or her boss to review his or her book and got a yes and was really thrilled and surprised by that. So these are just a few comments, and I would welcome you to add yours in the question panel along the way if you've been participating in the challenge and gaining great momentum in your book marketing efforts as a result of applying focused, consistent effort to your book marketing. I would love to hear about it. It's just been so fun, and here's what I've decided. We have to do it again. So as we get started today, I'm really thrilled to be able to share with you a free training that will teach you about the 4 phases of a book launch that my team and I have created and refined over time. And so let's talk a little bit to make sure you're in the right place. From your comments so far, I believe that you are, but let's talk together for a moment. If I can get my slides to move. Okay, so if you're an author who's looking for a practical and proven way to market and sell your books, then you are likely in the right place. So it's possible that you've already published a book, but you'd like to find a way to be more effective in marketing it, or perhaps you're anticipating a new book that's going to be coming out a few months down the road. Either way, you are definitely in the right place. And, I recognize that there might be people on this call who have a wide range of experience in marketing their books. So some of you already have established platforms and social media followings and email marketing lists, and there might be others of you who are really just beginning and don't have an email list and don't have a social following. Either way, the information I'm going to share today will be helpful to you, so we're glad that you're here. The one thing that I know for sure is true about every single author who has logged into today's call or who might be watching this recording later is that all of you have a dream of selling more books, of reaching more readers, and making a difference with your messages. So earlier today, I spoke on the phone with an author who's preparing to launch her first book in about 10 days. And she's working on all the final publication plans. And I asked her what I always ask authors, what's your goal? And among other goals, one of the things she said is, I have a story to tell. And if you are on this call today, my guess is that you have a story to tell. And I know that that story matters to you deeply. So if you're on the call, I hope it's because you're willing to put in the work needed to make your book a success. And in some cases, there might be a gap between your willingness to put in the work and your knowledge of what to do. And that's one of the reasons why we created this webinar and why we created the system of our 4-phase book marketing process. So if any of those things resonate with you, if you're a new author, if you're an experienced author, if you have a great following, if you don't have a following, if you want to make a difference with your book, if this is you're in the right place. We're so glad you joined us, and we're committed to providing the help that you need, because the system that we've created is one that's going to help you in reaching all those most important goals. And it's a step-by-step system that will help you as it relates to launching your book successfully and fueling your marketing in an ongoing way. So let's talk about where you might be right now. You might love the process of writing. You might not. Actually, the author I spoke to today said to me, I wasn't sure that I was someone who could write a book. And then all of a sudden one day I woke up and I could write a book, and I've done it. And now I want to share it with the world. So maybe you're one of those authors who wasn't sure about writing. Either way, you put tons of energy into writing your book. And now you may find the process of marketing your book to be overwhelming and confusing. So before we dive into today's training, I want to let you know that we do have a special offer today. And I'm so thrilled to share it with you, because my team and I have been working hours and weeks and months to provide some really valuable guidance for you in your book marketing process. And so I hope that you will stick around with me to the very end of the webinar, where we're going to tell you about our system and about a very special offer that's only available today. So let's talk about why book marketing can be so overwhelming and confusing. I think the number one reason is that it's an exceedingly crowded market, and many of you struggle to get your book and your voice above the noise. And let's talk about the noise. Every year, almost 1 million new books are published, and that's in the United States alone. 1 million new books. I'm not even going to be able to do the math on that, of how many new books are published every day. But the sad truth is that most authors are disappointed in the results, and most never sell more than 250 copies in the first year. So if you're an author who's feeling the pain of this statistic, it's likely that you've tried different marketing approaches before. And you may have tried social media marketing, you may have tried emailing your list, you may have tried optimizing your website, you may have tried asking every single person you know to buy your book. But the reality is that you're not necessarily seeing the results you want. And thanks to the person who did the math, 2,740 books published per day in the US or more. Crazy, crazy number. So if you have experienced the frustration and confusion of being unsure about how to effectively market your book, then I'm so glad you're here, because as I mentioned, my team and I have created a 4-phase book marketing system that we're going to talk about today. And the great thing about our system is that we've tested it. This week, my team and I celebrate our 100th book launch, which means that we've been refining and optimizing our process over 100 times to figure out what works in terms of getting the results that authors need. And one of the reasons why I feel like our system is proven and is successful is because we're coordinating all the various parts of the book marketing approaches, and we give you step-by-step guidance. So without that coordination or understanding of an overarching way to manage it, you can definitely run into some challenges. So I have talked over the years about the way a book launch is like a wedding. And I'd love to see some more feedback from you. If you're on the call and you're married and you have planned a wedding in the past, go ahead and tell me maybe how many years you've been married. I asked this earlier this week on a Facebook Live. So if you're on the call and you're married, go ahead and tell me how long you've been married, because I'm going to have to wind back in time 25 years. This year, my husband and I celebrate 25 years. So I'm going to go back in time 25 years, and I'm going to remember that when I planned my wedding, I let my mom do most of it, actually. And the reason was because it was so exceedingly overwhelming to deal with all the details. So when you plan a wedding, there are lots of details. When you plan a wedding, there are lots of decisions. And just a quick shout to those of you on this call. Wow, married more than 30 years. Someone said 39. Someone said 57, 47, 45. And all of you are identifying with me about the details, aren't you? Yes, there are so many. So there's lots of details. How about the pain of the expense of a wedding? Is anybody feeling me? A wedding is often exceedingly expensive, right? So there's lots of details, there's lots of decisions, there's lots of choice points. It costs a lot of money, it takes a lot of time. There are lots of careful arrangements. You don't always have someone like mom to outsource it to, but like I said, I kind of did that 25 years ago. Thanks, mom. But there's one thing that you might not be thinking about when you think about the way a book launch is like a wedding, and it's the positive side. Who came to your wedding? Likely the very most important people in your life came to your wedding. And none of them came begrudgingly. None of them, came because they had to or were forced to. They likely came because you were an important person in their life and they wanted a chance to contribute to your journey. And I think that oftentimes what happens with authors is we focus on the way a book launch is like a wedding with the money and the details and the arrangements and the overwhelming amount of work. And we forget that likely the same people who would have supported our wedding and shown up on our wedding day are those ones who want to be a part of our journey as authors and would be willing and ready and honored and privileged to participate. And so let's focus on today as we move into talking about the 4-phase book marketing process, the fact that like a wedding, your book marketing is worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And like a wedding, there are a host of people who want to be able to contribute to your journey. So, we want to stay stuck on that wedding slide. Everybody likes Jennifer Lopez. So I'm going to share with you our 4-phase book marketing system. And it's unlike anything you've likely seen before related to book marketing because it's a comprehensive system. It's not a piecemeal plan. And it's a system that can be implemented by anyone. We have tried to simplify the process and make it easy for anyone to follow step by step. And it's exceedingly practical and actionable. It's not theoretical. And I talked a little bit before about the fact that our team has been refining this system over 100 book launches. And I want to share with you a little bit about the fact that I know the confusion that you're likely facing. So the first book that I ever launched was back in 2011, and I was working in a freelance marketing job, and I was tasked with putting together a plan to help my client use social media and other online marketing tools to market his book. And at the time, I didn't necessarily have any resources, and to be honest, I was really making it up as I went along. And I also saw firsthand the pain, maybe pain's a strong word, but the frustration involved in working hard to rise above the noise and get results. And so even though that first book launch may not have had the results that we all had hoped for, I learned some really key and critical approaches, as I said, that we've been able to refine over time, supporting over 100 book launches and authors in multiple genres and dozens of industries. And now I've developed a company and I'm leading my team in serving authors in a comprehensive way. So part of what I want to be able to do in the work that I do in the world is to help you know that I see your pain, your confusion, your lack of information, and I want to be able to demystify that process and help you realize immediate support and relief and encouragement as you apply focused, consistent effort to being able to market your book in a successful way. So this is the whole reason why I created the course that we created to be able to teach you our 4-phase book marketing plan. So today, so I think I might have needed to move the slides sooner, but here's some fun photos. Some of my team who helped me in partnering with authors and who have been working so hard on getting this week's challenge put together. Then my youngest daughter, and we're showing our love for the Read Local movement and Hometown Reads. So if you are here and the way that you got here was through Hometown Reads, go ahead and tell me that in the question panel. I'd love to hear, and a shout out to all of our local authors who are really stepping forward to start where they are with their book marketing, and I'm so glad for that. So we are going to transition now, and we're going to talk about the 4 phases of the book launch. And what I recommend that you do is that you take a moment to try to figure out what phase you're in now, and really listen closely as I'm describing some of the most important parts of that phase, and realize that it's a cycle. So when we talk about the 4 phases of a book launch, it's likely that you are in a primary phase right now and that you'll cycle through them. However, you can continue along the way to progress through the different phases towards your book marketing success. So the 4 phases of a book launch that my team and I have identified and that we partner with authors on are building, working, launching, and advancing. And one of the things I say often about the building phase is that really, if you are an author and you've written a book, you will always be in the phase of building. So you always want to be expanding your connections in the world, reaching more people, and building that important author platform. Now, the working phase of a book launch refers to the 2 to 3 months right before the publication date of your book. So if you're working with a traditional publisher, your publication date is the date that the publisher sets to release the book. If you are an independent author, then the publication date is the date on which you are going to make your book live and available to the world. Either way, this working phase refers to that very specific period of time in the months leading up to your launch. Now, you can use the launch to describe a week or a month. It's those days surrounding your publication date, and the launch phase is exceedingly important for creating momentum and excitement and focusing people's energy around a specific date and time, which is the release of your book. So for example, this week, our team is partnering with an author named Shelley Francis, and her book is The Courage Way. And today is her publication date, February 6th. 2018. So this is her launch phase where, it starts today on the publication date of her book and goes for about a week or a month of this time that we are seeking to build momentum for her. So quite often people think that once they've launched their book, that is the end. And what we have seen is that book marketing is an ongoing investment of energy. And I like to really encourage people to view it as a 1 or 2 year process that you want to be able to give attention and energy to marketing that book. So the advancing phase refers to anything that you're doing once the book has launched to keep your book in the conversation. And as I said, it can extend for years. Now, any of you who have participated in some of the live casts that I've been doing this week on Facebook might have noticed that most of the time I'm wearing running clothes. I'm not on camera today because of the slides. I will be broadcasting in a live cast at 2:30 Eastern over on Facebook. If you happen to want to have more time with me, I'll be showing up there. And I'm going to be interviewing one of our authors, Nate Regier. And anyhow, you might have noticed on most of the live casts I'm wearing running clothes. The reason is running is a really important stress relief for me and my work. And you may or may not know that I run marathons. And so whenever I talk about book marketing, I want to stress the fact that book marketing is like a marathon. And when you run the first mile, that's the book launch. And then you have a really long way to go after. So shout out to the other runners on the call. I've done 5 marathons. I'm training for my 6th. And I know compared to many people, that's not very many. But I definitely get what it means to train for endurance. And what it means to train for endurance is that I have to apply focused, consistent effort over time, which is exactly what we ask you to do in your book marketing. So that advancing phase is, the last 25 miles of your marathon. So let's talk in greater detail about the phases of the book launch. That is the core content that we want to share with you today. So the 4 phases of the book launch, the first one is building. And as I mentioned earlier, the building phase really can can span any of your book marketing efforts. And there are three main things that we encourage you through our system to be building. And two of them might sound similar, so I want to be sure to differentiate them for you. So the first thing that you want to build throughout the book launch process is connections. And I use connections to refer to social media connections. And you want to build as many of those as possible as early in your book marketing journey as possible. So I don't consider myself to be a published author yet. I someday dream of having a print book out there in the world. And I view every single bit of online marketing that I've been doing since I showed up on Facebook January 1st, 2009, as being my way of building connections that will someday support my book launch. And so, even if a book is only a dream for you, you want to connect with as many people as you can. And I encourage you to connect with old friends, old neighbors, colleagues, and then to seek to find and form new relationships. And a win for me today, I found out I just passed 4,000 connections on LinkedIn. If you're on the call today and we're not connected on LinkedIn, please connect with me. I would love to be connected with you. And so when you're thinking about the building phase, it's that focused attention that you want to give to building and growing your connections online. The second thing that you want to be building over time is content. And content is the way that you can fuel people's interest in what you have to share with the world. And in our system, you'll see that we focus a lot on repurposing content you may have already created, but you also want to be able to share and grow the content that you can use throughout your book marketing. And sometimes that's content in addition to what's already in your book. Now, the third and likely most important part of the building phase is building contacts. And the way this is differentiated from connections is contacts are people who have expressly given you permission to market to them through email. And you want to grow your email list like your social media connections as big as possible, as soon as possible. And in our system, we work with you to help you figure out how to grow that permission-based list and how to use that throughout your book marketing efforts. So just a quick review, connections. You want to create as many connections as possible, as far in advance of your launch as possible. And this slide represents the way that your network exponentially grows when you make more connections on LinkedIn. I don't know if you can still see this kind of data on LinkedIn, but I used to love this feature where LinkedIn would show you how many connections you had and how many people you could potentially reach as a result of those connections. And obviously, the more connections you have, the more potential connections you have out there in the world, and it's phenomenally powerful. Again, review on content. So as you think about building content for your book marketing, you want to think about what you've previously created that you can organize, catalog, and repurpose in marketing your book, and what new content you might also need to create. An example, I don't know if Barb is on the call, but Barb is part of our Facebook book marketing group, and she's preparing to launch a new book and Bible study. And she shared with us in the book marketing group that she has been creating some new content in the form of graphics that are going to become part of a text campaign that she's setting up. And so as you think about the building phase, you can think about, what creative approaches could you enlist in interesting people in your work. And Barb is doing a fantastic job of that with her graphics. This graphic here represents just a quick lesson on repurposing content. And if you think about your book is an asset that you've already written, and your book contains, tens of thousands of words likely, and those words can easily be repurposed to fuel your book marketing efforts. I like to tell authors, especially authors of nonfiction, that likely contained in their nonfiction book are dozens, if not hundreds, of short bursts of content that can be repurposed for sharing on Twitter and other social media networks. And likely within that nonfiction book, or even within a fiction book, are topics of inspiration that could fuel a newsletter. If you decide that you want to share parts of your book by video, likely your book contains tons of inspiration for video content that you could create and share. Graphics. In our challenge, many of you used Canva, which is a free graphic creation tool, and you made amazing graphics. And some of you made book marketing focused graphics, and others of you highlighted content from your book in graphics that could catch people's attention, and they were phenomenal. I see a question from Janice about repurposing fiction. I do believe that you can repurpose fiction. So one of the ways that I would advise a fiction writer would be to think about the themes that are in your book and consider how you could use those themes as jumping off points for repurposing some ideas. I'm guessing that within your fiction are likely keywords and phrases that are beautiful and attention grabbing. And I would recommend finding and using those again in your book marketing efforts. So you can also repurpose your book into speeches. You could repurpose your book into articles, into blog posts, or as inspiration for podcasts. So in the phase of building, you're building content and connections and contacts. Again, a review on contacts. You want to think about who's interested in your message that can opt in. And going back to the challenge that we did, the very first prompt with thinking about your networks and identifying your key networks, it's really important to think about who can support you in getting the word out about your book. And you're likely going to be surprised at the number of people there are, just like the ones on your wedding invite list. There are many, many people likely with whom you're connected who will be very supportive in helping you get the word out about your book. So just a quick story about the building phase. This is Susan Fowler. She's an author that we have supported for many years, and her book, Why Motivating People Doesn't Work and What Does. One of our first priorities in supporting Susan was as it relates to contacts. And prior to us supporting her, Susan had not done any work around building a permission-based email list. So one of our first priorities with her was getting that set up, setting up MailChimp and a newsletter, and converting kind of her connections in the world to be opt-in contacts. And she has a thriving email newsletter list of people who are looking forward to hearing about her new book, which is set to come in 2019. So let's talk for a moment about the working phase of your book launch. I mentioned before that the working phase of your book launch encompasses the 2 to 3 months before you're set to publish your book, the 2 to 3 months before your publication date. And I just have a few glimpses for you of the working process. I love that my kids are in these slides. It's so fun. One of the most important priorities in the working phase of your book launch is to get advanced copies into the hands of readers who will review your book and join you in launching your book. So these photos represent the actual physical work that must happen between your books arriving. These are our clients' books that ended up in my garage. And then the whole process of, crafting a letter to go with the books, crafting the asks that you want for the people who receive the advanced copies, physically putting the books into the envelopes as in the upper right picture, and also taking the books to the post office. I happen to live in a really small town, Lambertville, Michigan, and our post office workers know us by name, face, company name, because we obviously bring a lot of books. So I see a question about less than stellar reviews. I would worry less about the bad reviews and more about being able to get some reviews. There's always going to be haters, and you can't really focus too much on that. Even the best books have bad reviews. So focusing on being able to get your book into the hands of people who will be supportive with their reviews is more important than worrying about the bad ones, in my opinion. So let's talk a little bit about launching. A book launch can be such an exciting adventure, and I find that oftentimes authors confuse like an actual launch event, like a party, with the process of building momentum for launch. And just quickly, I'll address a question that came in KG is wondering about verified versus unverified purchase reviews. In a perfect world, if I were asking folks to support my book launch and if I were giving them advanced copies of my book, I would also hope that they would be willing to buy the book as well. And so what we often do is encourage authors, you give an advanced copy and you say, hey, the best possible way you can help me is to buy the book. Then once those people buy the book, then they can have a verified purchase review. I don't stress too much about that verified versus unverified. In general, my goal always is to see a book with at least 50 Amazon reviews as important early social proof. Kathy has a question about how to best follow up with people who have advanced copies and don't write reviews. And I think the reality is that many, many people will say they'll give reviews and a small percentage will follow through. So follow-up is helpful. And I think we were talking about this in the book marketing group. Quite often, one of the reasons people don't leave reviews is they're overwhelmed by the technology or they're not actually sure how to do it. So if you can provide some instructions that are simple and easy to follow, quite often you'll see a higher percentage of people actually leave those reviews. So speaking about launching a book, which is the third phase, so I mentioned that people confuse a book launch with a party, and here I'm showing you pictures of a party, so don't let me add to the confusion. But just one of the things that you can think about in launching a book is that it is a cause for celebration, and a celebration can be quite memorable, just like people likely remember your wedding day. If you can create some kind of memorable event, whether it's virtual or in person around the launch of your book, people will remember that. So back in 2014, my team and I supported Alexandra Watkins with her launch of Hello, My Name is Awesome. And I was fortunate enough to travel to San Francisco and attend her book launch party. And she had some great branded, cakes and treats. And the other exciting thing was being able to see her rank as an Amazon bestseller on her launch day. And quite often, the priority of your book launch is to focus a lot of energy and attention on sales on a particular day or in a particular hour so that you can get that bestseller and category ranking on Amazon. So one of the things that you'll find when you access the Book Marketing Action Guide, which is our team's course that I'm going to talk about later in today's call, is that we give you some specific instructions about how to make that happen. And it's not just so that you can brag and say, oh, my book was an Amazon bestseller, or, I ranked in a category. It's because of the additional exposure that your title can get when you rank in those categories. So, I would encourage you to think about how you might create that momentum, and during launch week, being able to achieve things like getting early reviews for social proof and being able to drive sales so that you can rank in your category on Amazon are really important. Richard has a really good point related to reviews. One of the things that we need to realize is that not everyone is going to love our book. And so when we give advanced copies, we really want to give them freely, and we want the people who love the book to leave a review. There are some people, if they don't love the book, they will choose not to leave a review rather than leaving a review that is unhappy or unpleasant. So that's a really good reminder, Richard. Thank you for that. Sorry about that. Lots of questions and comments coming in, and boy, I just love your engagement. Can I just pause and say that for a minute? It has been so much fun to engage with all of you through the challenge and in the book marketing group. And I love that this is a community that we're beginning that can continue past today. So thanks so much for being a part of it. Let's talk for a minute about the fourth phase. Oh, wait, I guess I'm supposed to tell you a story about a client that we had. His name is Paul Larson. And Paul has a book called Find Your Voice as a Leader. And our team began working with Paul. And here's some things he said about working with us. He said, Weaving Influence has been the perfect partner in launching my book and helping me focus on my marketing and public relations efforts. I have succeeded in leveraging my existing relationships and networks and building new and productive ones around the book's central message. I've been thrilled to experience the results of how much engagement my book has received. Most significantly, my core business continues to grow, with my book serving as a key credibility builder moving forward. Now, I think Paul undersells the work that he's been able to do in getting his book out into the world. I have loved watching his success as a speaker and consultant since his book was released. He literally travels around the world with his message about finding his voice as a leader and how others can do the same. And it's been tremendously thrilling to watch his success. And sorry, I'm not loving the slides today. I'm having trouble getting them to move when I want them to. So let's talk for a minute about the fourth phase of book marketing, which is the advancing phase. And this is going to apply especially to any of you who are on the call today who may have launched your book already and you're wondering, how do I continue to get momentum in sales if my book is already out? And that's one of the great things about the book marketing action guide, because the system will work for you no matter where you start. If you are that author who's preparing for a launch, we're going to give you all the steps and guidance from starting from zero. But if you're a little bit farther on the journey, you can jump into the course wherever you are and put the tactics to work for you. And we know that it works because we've implemented with authors, many who have joined us after their books have come out and have implemented our tactics to great success in getting the word about their book. What I've learned through helping over 100 authors in launching their books is that when you choose to invest in building your online influence through marketing your book, you're choosing to create the biggest possible impact for your mission and message. So let's talk for a minute about 4 things that you can do right now. And this is actually just a reflection of the four of the challenges that we invited you to with our book marketing challenge. So one of the things you could do right now is, if you haven't already, you can brainstorm about your networks. You are likely connected already to many people who would be excited to join you in getting the word out about your book. Once you've brainstormed your networks, you can make specific asks. And many of you did that this week during our book marketing challenge. You identified people, you identified ways they could help, and then you took action to make those asks. A third thing that you can do that wasn't represented in our challenges this week is to create a content calendar. And you can reference in today's slides the various ways that you can repurpose content, and really think about in what ways can you add value in the world by sharing content from your book. And the fourth thing you can do right now, any day, every day, is share beautiful graphics with quotes about your book to build excitement and interest. And many of you did a tremendous job with those Canva graphics. So I want to share another case study with you in a moment, but before, I want to ask with you the question, what does it really mean to sell out your book launch? And the great thing about the system that we have is that it lets you start wherever you are. And as I mentioned with the advancing phase, maybe you've already published your book, you're wanting to get more momentum, and so you can start with that advancing phase and then work your way back through building. You can think about how you might implement some of the tactics of the whole process and system. And this graphic really represents the way that we, through our system, coordinate all the efforts of social media and networks and creative ways you can share your book and digital PR. And we regularly share this system with the best-selling authors we work with who are implementing the system. And they keep coming to work with us again because they see that our approach works. So here's a case study for you. My friend Scott Moutz, a friend and client, he's the author of a book called Find the Fire. And we began working with Scott just a couple of months before his launch. And here's some results that he saw. He had at least 8 features in prominent blogs, podcasts, and news articles, and they put his book in front of tens of thousands of potential readers. Scott shares about his book on various social channels from key leaders in his field. We had a webinar, and over 289 people attended because they were interested in his book's topic. And Scott had a dedicated launch team that was excited to share about and review his book. And the 4-phase book marketing system worked for Scott, but Scott's not any different than you are. He's a regular guy. He lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he cares deeply about the message in his book. So whatever your goals are, or whatever your reasons for writing are, if you can apply focused, consistent effort to the tactics in our system, you're going to see results in your book marketing efforts. So here's Scott's testimonial. He said, I came to Weaving Influence shortly before my second book launch with the goals of gaining media traction for my book and boosting my author platform to drive sales and interest in my core business. I was thrilled with the results. Weaving Influence's methods are solid. They were able to help me accomplish my major goals and then some in a relatively short time because they truly understand how book marketing works and how to help different types of authors succeed. So something else about Scott is that prior to working with us in our core business, he accessed the system, the course that we're going to share with you today, the Book Marketing Action Guide, and he worked through all the phases so that he could plan and execute his book marketing efforts. And then he came to partner with us on some other initiatives. So as an author, you have at least 2 choices, and 2 that I want to highlight today. You can stumble in the dark trying to figure out book marketing on your own, much like I did the very first time I launched a book, when I invented a marketing plan from nothing and from advice I found on the internet. And that choice is time consuming. It's fraught with frustration and confusion. Or you can skip the strategy and go straight to the execution. And so what that means is partnering with us to access the tested and proven steps of the 4 phases of the book launch system that's contained in our course, the Book Marketing Action Guide. So congratulations. I want to thank you for taking the time today to learn about the system that's going to help you truly succeed as an author. And the reason why I'm motivated, the reason why I built the course, the reason why I founded Hometown Reads, the reason why I work with authors every day is because I know firsthand how confusing the book launch process can be. And most of the time when I meet authors, they don't have a clue about how to start. And because we've worked with 100 authors, we've seen the system work. What I want to be able to do is share what I know with you in a way that will help you succeed. So I'm thrilled that you're here. So if you are interested in finding out more about our system, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking to you about the Book Marketing Action Guide. So the Book Marketing Action Guide is a guided online course that gives any authors access to our proven 4-phase book launch system. And what the course does is it takes all the knowledge that we use and implement with our clients, and it lays it out in an easy to follow 4-phase process with step-by-step instructions for launching your book. So if and when you sign up for the Book Marketing Action Guide, here's a glimpse at what the course actually looks like. Here's what you're going to get. You're going to get our tested and proven method for launching your book using our 4 phases of a book launch system. You're going to get access to a wider community of authors and marketers that you can learn from and share with. And you're going to get step-by-step videos, actionable downloadable resources, and interactive checklists for each phase of your book launch. And in my mind, the checklists are incredibly valuable because rather than needing to create your own to-do list for book marketing, just like with our challenge that we did this week, you're going to be able to have those prompts of exactly what you need to do when. And my team and I worked 4 months, years, weeks, hours, who knows, to be able to create these resources for you. Here's a testimonial from best-selling author Karen Hurt. She said that working with Weaving Influence has been vital for building her brand and growing her business. And she's been consistently placed in big-name publications like Forbes, Inc., Fast Company, and now has a strong network of supporters who proactively reach out for quotes. And so the processes that we test will enable you to get results like that as well. So I want to give you a sneak peek into some of the resources that are available within the course. So when you log into the course, what you're going to see is each of the 4 phases with various areas, and there are, I can't even remember how many videos. There are many videos. There are many PDF resources that are available to read to reinforce the learning in the videos. And so for example, in the building phase, you're going to start with our author platform building strategy, and you'll be able to beat the tech overwhelm that authors sometimes find with step-by-step instructions for creating your home online. You're going to find out how to start to build your online following, even if you're starting from scratch, so that when you get to your book launch, you'll have people waiting to buy. And we're also going to help you learn how to build a launch team of supporters that are ready and excited to promote your book. So in the working phase, it's time to kick into action. And so in the working phase is where you'll start sending email marketing to build community and drive pre-orders. And in the course, we provide you with the exact email templates and timing guidelines we use with our own clients. We also will help you learn to use our DIY PR system to land interviews in news articles, podcasts, and blogs, which is one of the biggest ways to build your list. And we'll help you start planning your online and in-person events that will help you sell books and build your reputation. In the launching phase, your book launch week is here, and we're going to walk you through this exciting week phase step by step, helping you get exposure to massive audiences when your launch team shares about your book with their networks, how to leverage your social media presence to drive sales without posting a million times or begging, and how you can enjoy the satisfaction of seeing your book sales roll in and knowing that your words are reaching the world. So in the advancing phase, your book launch may be over, but your book's reach is definitely not. And as I said before, this is when you need to view your book marketing as a marathon. And so in the advancing phase, we'll help you continue to grow and market to your email list to continue to sell books and set the stage for upcoming and future book launches. We'll help you leverage your book to get free or paid speaking engagements, new business, and writing opportunities. And we'll also help you set the stage for your next book, writing, or business venture with our proven system for maintaining long-term marketing momentum. So I want to share this testimonial from Shelley Francis. I mentioned her earlier on the call. Her book, The Courage Way, is available today for the first time. She says, Becky and her team have a proven methodology for everything book launch, from how to create a book website that really sells, to mobilizing networks to gain media coverage. Weaving Influence really knows their stuff. Before working with Weaving Influence, I was totally overwhelmed by the whole prospect of marketing. And now I am calm and excited to watch my organized, systematic book marketing plan unfold. That one made me smile. So here's a glimpse of what you're going to get when you purchase the book marketing action guide. You're going to get a 1-year membership to the course and access to the system that gives you step-by-step instructions for creating a book launch that sells books and helps move your other goals forward, such as starting your own business, boosting your business, getting paid speaking, being featured in high-profile articles, blog posts, podcasts, and setting the stage for a future book deal. And so the course includes videos for each lesson that you can watch at your own pace. It includes templates, timing guides, and concrete examples that will show exactly what to do and when. And with today's launch of our course, we've recently redesigned the course and added a bunch more content that's even more valuable for our participants. And one of the bonuses that we have available today is access to our exclusive student Facebook group community, which is different from our public group, which will always be available. This is a place where you'll have more access to our team to answer your questions, to give you feedback on your progress, and that's going to be customized support for you. The second bonus that we have today is a plug-and-play template that will help you outline the content that you need for your book marketing website. And we show you exactly what components are needed to have the best possible book website. And this is the same information that our team gives in our web strategy calls. So we estimate this at $195 value. You're also going to get our social media toolkit for authors. And Christy Kirk, our director of social strategy, has put together a practical guide that's going to help you create winning social media posts, even if you don't have any experience. So today you're going to be able to get all of the things I mentioned, the full book marketing action guide system and a paperback copy of the course materials, membership to our book marketing action guide mastermind group with custom support, our plug and play website copy template, our social media toolkit for authors, and the total value of all the resources that we've compiled for you are over $1,400, $1,442. And today's investment is only $297. So I hope that you will choose to partner with me on your book marketing journey, because our team has worked hard to provide actionable, practical guidance so that you can remove the hassle of trying to figure out the book marketing journey on your own, and so that you can access our proven system that's worked for over 100 book launches. So I also want, you can go to weavinginfluencelab.com/join. And once you've done that, I want to also extend a special offer for anyone who buys within the next 30 minutes. We have an extra special bonus today when you get to our sales page. It's a special offer, a worksheet called the 5 Secrets of Bestselling Amazon Author Pages. So one of the ways that we've supported authors is in making sure that your Amazon author page is optimized. And this is a brand new resource that we created for today's webinar. It's the first time that it's been available, and you can get that today if you purchase the course. And we don't want you to miss out on the opportunity. So no matter what stage you're in marketing or launching your book, I invite you today to invest in the Book Marketing Action Guide. I would love for you to take a moment to take advantage of all the amazing bonuses that we've included today. And then as soon as you purchase, you're going to receive your login to the Book Marketing Action Guide. You're going to receive your invite to our members only Facebook mastermind group. You'll get the other bonuses, the plug and play website template, the social media for authors toolkit. And again, if you purchase in the next 30 minutes, you're also going to receive the 5 Secrets of Bestselling Amazon Author Pages worksheet at no additional cost. And that's the XYZ webinar bonus, which is our Amazon Author Central Toolkit. So I hope that you'll sign up now. We're so excited to welcome you to our course. Remember, again, you have 2 choices, at least 2 choices, 2 that we're highlighting today. One is to stumble in the dark and create your own marketing plan with advice that you pull together from the internet, or you can skip the strategy and go straight to the execution with the strategic guidance that our step-by-step process offers. And if you're not sure, because I know it can be overwhelming to make an investment like this, we do have a 30-day money-back guarantee for those who have completed the course materials. Here's another testimonial from our long-time client, Mark Miller, who's an author of 7 books, including the newest, which is coming out February 27th, Talent Magnet. Mark says, Becky Robinson and the Weaving Influence team are amazing. My platform has increased dramatically since we started working together. I've recommended them to every author I know. So if you're willing and ready to take a stand for your book, I hope that you will take a look at weavinginfluence.lab.com join. And I'm going to review really quickly what you're going to get when you purchase our course. 1 full year of access to the Book Marketing Action Guide course, which includes the modules for each of our 4 phases. It includes videos, PDFs, and interactive checklists. You're also going to get a beautiful paperback print copy of the resources in the marketing guide mailed to your doorstep. And you're going to receive at least 4 special bonuses today. Membership to the Book Marketing Mastermind group, where you'll have access to our team for your questions at any time. You're going to receive your plug and play template for your book's website copy. You're going to receive our social media for authors toolkit, and you're also going to get our XYZ special offer, which is our Amazon Author Central Optimization Guide. I do see that I have a question here regarding the investment. So the $297 is the total cost for all for the whole course, and you can either pay that in 1 you can pay it all at once for $297, or you can do 4 payments of $97 something. The sales page has all those details. So I invite you to be the author you dream of being. Because really the ultimate value that we hope to bring in the world through all the work that we do, whether it's Hometown Reads and supporting authors there, or our book marketing Facebook group, or our core services to authors, what we really want to do is be able to partner with authors to help their dreams of being successful authors become reality. And we want to be able to help you in making the biggest possible impact with your mission and message. So again, quick review, total value, $1,442. You pay $297 or 4 payments of $97.50. So Anne Von Aaron said, I had very little social media presence and chose Weaving Influence to support me with my book launch of Oasis Conversations. Weaving Influence supported me in having a successful launch. They know what they're doing. So you can check out weavinginfluence.com /join, weavinginfluencelab.com/join. And we want to talk for a moment about any questions that you have about the course, any questions that you have about book marketing. And I'm also supposed to announce the winners of our contest. Those of you who participated in our launch challenge, many of you sent in your points, and we do have winners available. And it looks like I don't have the slide with the winners. So I'm asking my team to ping me those winners. I'm happy to share those winners with you in a few minutes. And if you have any questions, I am available for those questions now. Also, does anybody think I've been talking way too fast? Wow, I'm out of breath. I'm going to take a drink of water. A couple of things while we're trying to access the winners. We will be on Facebook Live at 2:30 with author Nate Regier, who's going to talk about some of the things he's learned about book launch and book marketing. And so I hope that you'll join me over on Facebook if you have more time. So our first place winner is Ray Shagalov. I'm not sure if you're on the call. Ray, congratulations. You got the most points in our book marketing challenge. Our second place winner is Joni Bruce. Congratulations, Joni, on applying focused, consistent effort to the book marketing challenge. And our winner number 3 is Drew Farrell. Great job. So our first place winner gets access to the book marketing course and all the bonuses that we described today. Our second place winner gets a printed copy of the course materials, which are in a paperback book. And our third place winner gets a 30-minute strategy call with someone on our team. And Margie, who's on my team, will be contacting the winners via email shortly to help you access your prizes. So, over 50 of you sent in points for the challenge, and several people completed every single prompt of the challenge. And, I think anyone who participated really is a winner. Because to be successful in book marketing requires focus, consistent over time. So I have a couple of questions about the course. Kathy is saying that her background is in higher education, and will the course content help with this market? So the course is actually designed to help authors in any genre, any market. And so, yes, the course will help you with your market, Kathy. Will the course work for me if I've already published my book? Yes, absolutely. I do have a question about are the testimonials from those that use the course or people who use us directly? And there's a mixture, Susan. So Scott Moutz did access the course prior to hiring us for our core service. Most of the testimonials are from people who hired our company to partner with them directly, not through the course. And we tried to make sure the testimonials really spoke to the process that we follow. So the same process that we follow with the clients who hire us to work directly with them is the process that we teach in the course. And really, this is the first launch of the course. This is kind of our first entry in sharing the course widely in the world. So I hope that helps. So congratulations to our winners. Congratulations to all of you who partnered with us through the book launch challenge in applying focused, consistent effort to marketing your books. I could not be more thrilled to have this opportunity to share our work in the world with you. And I'm confident that if you partner with us, that you'll see great momentum and success with your book marketing. I do have a question of how long will it take to go through the course? It really depends. The videos are short. They're 1 to 3 minutes, and there are close to 40 videos. The PDF resources, obviously, you can go back and read again and again. We have designed each of the tasks on the checklist to be short. Those of you who participated in the challenge know that I'm all about, focus, consistent effort. And so really, it will take as much time to go through the course as you're willing to invest in your book marketing. I would say if you can invest, 12 to 20 minutes a day, you will be able to see success. And again, it really is just depending on how much time you want to invest. And there's also a question here, can you explain what kind of support we'll get in the Facebook group? And that's an excellent question. And Margie, if you have any specific ideas that I can share, please let me know. Suppose you're working on an email for a launch team and you want to share that email copy in the group. We will give you feedback. Anything that you're working with along the way, we'll be happy to provide feedback about. So we'll provide feedback about your social media posts. We could provide feedback on your book marketing website as you're creating it. We'll give you suggestions about how to specifically customize your launch plan. Feedback about your Amazon Author Central page. It's a place basically where you can see us as your sounding board and where we can give you input along the way as you make progress. It would be my hope that I can be your biggest cheerleader, just in the same way that I'm cheering you on with the progress that you've made with your book marketing challenge. We're going to give you plenty of cheering on as you continue to apply focused, consistent effort to your book marketing journey. So thanks so much for all of you who have invested in this hour with us. I want to remind you that our course cart is now open at weavinginfluencelab.com/join. And I encourage you, if you have any questions, to join me on the Facebook Live at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be interacting with author Nate Regier. You can also email me with questions. I'm Becky at weavinginfluence.com, and we'll be checking those emails throughout the day, maybe not overnight, but our team does work around the clock to serve you well, so please feel free to contact me. And just a quick reminder that we do have a bonus available for the next 30 minutes, which is the Amazon Author Central Optimization Guide. 20 minutes left on that. And we have other bonuses that are available with the course, no matter when you buy it. But I hope you'll take advantage of the bonus that's open and available right now. And Aubrey's on my team and she's standing by to send that bonus to you when she sees your purchase come through. So thanks again. Many of you hung in there with me this entire hour. And again, it is an extreme privilege to serve you. And hopefully I'll see you over on Facebook in about 30 minutes. Take care and have a fantastic day.